Marquee North?
Marquee North is down here, sir, and to the left.
Okay. All right, folks, I made it. It's been a crazy day, but I made it. Here's the speaker series. Hey!
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yes, sir. All right.
How are you?
GPS signal lost.
And you can be a registered guest.
And registered guest. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Holy crap. I freaking made it.
How you doing?
Hi. Good.
All right. So,
Here's Judge Jeannine,
you
everybody.
know, the American people elected Donald Trump.
Excuse me.
Because they believe in law and order and truth and justice. And when California and other counties and cities decide that they are going to be a sanctuary, they are thumbing their nose at what the American people want, and that is truth and justice and law and order. Now, why do I say this? You know, sanctuary is this benign sounding term. You know, it sounds almost religious, like in medieval periods. You know, that you got sanctuary in a church, and I'm Catholic, and I get all that. And then I said, it's not sanctuary. It is a malignant term. And I'll tell you why I say that. You know the Kate Steinle case better than anyone.
Yes, I do.
But I knew this a decade, 2 decades ago. He was a painter, and he was from Ecuador. He was illegal. Every week, he would get cash from his job, and he would buy beer. He was small, he was slight, and every week, the same illegal would beat him up and take whatever cash was left. I'm the sitting DA, I knew nothing about it. I only heard about it when the same guy who beat him up every week took a rock, smashed his head, and killed him. And that's when this painter, the young illegal, that's when his family came to my office. And I said to them, why didn't he complain? Why didn't he come to us? And their response made perfect sense. Because he was more afraid of the other illegal than of law enforcement in the United States and what we could do to protect him. And that is the sad commentary. Now, I convicted the guy of murder. I convicted him, so what? The innocent guy, and so many illegals are victimized by these criminal illegals for whom your governor and so many across this nation think is the American way to handle justice. Well, they are just straight out wrong. What they are doing is they are putting criminals in your midst. And let me make it real simple. Do you know what a detainer is? You may.
Yep.
How many know exactly what a detainer is? I got a couple here. Okay, a few. Good. I'm glad most of you don't know. A detainer, unless you're all brilliant and you're not admitting it, a detainer is similar to a warrant, but it's not signed by a judge. Now, that is meaningless to anyone unless you're a lawyer. Here's the deal. I'm the DA. I have a bunch of criminals in my local jail. The feds, ICE, Customs, call my cops and they say, John Jones, Julio, whomever, is coming out of jail at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. We can't get there until Thursday. Can you hold him till Thursday? Because we have a want for him, a deportation order, or a warrant for him. Now, if there's a deportation order, folks, that means not just that the guy's illegal, it means that a judge has issued an order for him to be deported. That's not simple stuff.
No.
That takes months and months before it happens. So what the sanctuary governors and county executives and everyone else are doing is they're saying, we're not going to hold them for you. And so the feds say, okay, we'll be there at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And so the sanctuary people say, let him out at 2 o'clock. And don't let him out the front door, let him out the side door. We don't want to help them. We would prefer to help the illegal for whom there is a federal detainer, and then help the law enforcement, our federal brothers and sisters in law enforcement. And as a result of that, there are people in your state or jurisdiction who are dangerous.
Yep.
In addition to that, local law enforcement is not helping the federal brothers and sisters who come into your area looking for them, and it's more dangerous for them too. Now, make no mistake, we're not talking about the person who cleans a house, and we're not talking about a person who's serving. That's not who we're talking about. We're talking about people for whom there is a warrant. We're talking about the worst of the worst. We're talking about the people who killed Kate Steinle,
Yep.
a guy with 7 felonies, deported 5 times. What's wrong with us?
Not
What
me.
is wrong with us? And it all has to end. It must end. And I don't want you feeling that it's helpless or it's hopeless. Because it's not. We elected Donald Trump. Who thought that man would be elected president of the United States?
I did.
Nobody.
A couple of us.
And the pollsters and the media, they all said he doesn't have a chance. They tried to convince the forgotten man and woman, don't even go out and vote. Don't waste your time. And yet in their hearts, they knew that maybe they could make a difference. I'm here to tell you today that you can still make a difference, that the fight has just begun.
Yeah.
That electing Donald Trump is just the beginning. There are states across this nation, and I cross this nation every week. There are states across this nation, one by one, who are leading the charge, not so much to change America as much as they'd like to, but to change their state. And it's happening all over. It's happening in Pennsylvania,
Yes.
where the Liberty Bell, Philadelphia, all of the history there, where they said, enough of this corruption, enough of these tax increases. What we're going to do is we're going to take hold, one by one, of every seat in that legislature, of every man or woman who wants to raise our taxes, who doesn't care about our schools, who could care less about the working man and woman. And you know what? They've gotten something like 24 seats, and they've got a candidate running for governor who I guarantee is going to win
Don Wagner.
in 2018.
Yes.
All
Don
right.
Wagner.
The next one, they're going from all the 13 colonies. If you want to hook up with any of these people, I will hook you up with them. They are now they're going to New Jersey. And by the way,
No, they're about
I
to-
was in New Jersey the other day. There's this guy running for governor
Who
of
wants
New
to go
Jersey.
sanctuary state?
Guess who showed up? Barack showed up.
Yeah.
Hillary showed up. Biden showed up.
Uncle Joe, keep his hands away from me.
And guess who was canceled right before he was scheduled to show? Yes.
Hillary.
Hello.
Crooked Hillary.
Oh, she showed. She could sell a few books. Of course she showed. You know
Oh.
who didn't show? Who was asked not to show? You got it, Harvey Weinstein. Crime, money, politics, and the Democratic Party all wrapped up in one place. And I want you to remember that you can change it all. You can change everything, and you must. There has never been a movement. There has never been what we're seeing in the United States today. I've never seen the country like this, and I'm no spring chicken, trust me. All right? What people are saying today, if there's a lunatic shooting someone in Las Vegas, you're going to take away my guns. And if you say something that insults a certain religion, they're going to take away your speech. There's a lot at stake here, folks. They're going to take away your property. They're going to increase your taxes. By the way, this guy in New Jersey, for whom all the Dems are coming in, and I only mention New Jersey because I was just there, I think it was 2 days ago. This guy says, I'm going to increase your property taxes.
Yep.
And I am going to, well, what was the other thing? He's going to increase the property taxes. Oh, and I'm going to pay for pre-K, free pre-K, through high school, free community college, and forgive student loans in New Jersey. How are you going to do that? He was asked. Well, I'm going to charge the corporations and the rich people. Think about that.
When they're not.
He's gonna, all of business is gonna leave New Jersey, as if our kids haven't already left New Jersey, because they can't afford the taxes anyway.
Right.
They have to be stopped. And all of this nonsense that we're hearing about, this is un-American, this isn't who we are, this, you know what? I know who we are. I know what America is. Don't tell me what my nationalism is. My father fought in World War II. My grandfather fought in World War II. I have spent time in government. I have done for people in my country. You don't tell me what I need to do to be an American. And don't let anyone tell you what you need to do to be an American. I ain't gonna say too much, but I am gonna say this. You know, Bush 43. Whatever.
Feel the hate.
I'm gonna be good, Ma. I'm gonna be good. Bush 43 kept his mouth shut for 8 years.
Yeah.
While he was blamed for everything by President Obama. He was blamed for everything. I'm not even going to go through it. Everything that went wrong for 8 years was Bush's fault. You know, whether it was the economy or this or that, any attack, the military, whatever. Bush did it. Bush comes out. Who does he attack?
Trump. Shame
Donald
on him.
Trump. Folks,
It's just awful.
Shame on him.
it's
Shame
the
on Trump.
establishment versus the people.
They have no interest in fighting for us.
I'm not invested in the establishment. By the way, I ran for office 5 times in New York. It's a blood sport. I have the scars to prove it. I'm not naive. I get it. But what I also get is something that is very simple. We have to honor our military. We have to honor law enforcement. And we have to honor our flag.
Yes.
You want to take a knee? Take a knee on your own time and on your own dime. Because I'm not interested in your politics.
Right.
Thank you.
I'd like to know when the last time was that any of those guys voted.
Nah. They can't vote. They're felons.
Congresswoman,
They're
county
felons.
legislator decided that they wanted to
Most of
sponsor
them are felons. They
legislation,
can't vote.
did anything to make this country better other than to do something for a tax deduction. Don't make me feel like I'm not an American because I don't respect your right to take a knee. You don't have that right as far as I'm concerned. It's an American pastime, not your time to play politics with my dime. Now, tonight on my show. It's not tonight, it's at 6 o'clock. I'm a little fired up already. I've been talking about the Clinton Foundation for years. You know, hang on. Let me explain something to you. In case you're here having a good time or listening to somebody else. It's not just the Clinton Foundation. Now, I didn't hear everything Harmeet said. I've been a prosecutor, a judge, and a DA for 30 years. I have spent my life prosecuting cases, putting people in jail, doing investigations, doing grand jury presentations. It's who I am, it's what I did. It's my wheelhouse. What the Clintons did in terms of getting money into the foundation, which to me was a slush fund, which if you've ever watched me, I've said 5,000 times. It's worse. I want you to know the backdrop before I leave. The Obama administration approved the sale of 20% of our uranium, America's uranium, okay? So you say, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Now, I don't have the answer, but I want to tell you within what context that was. There was an ongoing criminal federal investigation into extortion, fraud, money laundering by Russia that was looking to ingratiate itself with Bill and Hillary because they wanted our uranium as early as 2008. There was an informant who was being extorted, who came to the FBI. He said, you have no idea what they're doing. And the FBI wired him up, and he got the evidence. And they knew in 2009 what Russia was doing, that Russia wanted access to our uranium, which is a key ingredient for nuclear energy. By the way, nuclear energy, you put your foot on the gas, on the centrifuges, and you can turn it into a nuclear weapon. Okay? Now, Russia is doing everything it can to get that access to that stuff. The people who were involved in the investigation are Eric Holder is the head of the Department of Justice.
Boo!
Hang on.
Hang them from the tree.
The second guy handling the case is Rod Rosenstein. He's the guy in the Department of Justice who told Jeff Sessions to recuse himself and brought Bob Mueller in to prove that Trump and Russia were doing the deed, okay? The head of the FBI at the time of this massive investigation where Russia is creating all of this havoc and money laundering to buy our uranium is Bob Mueller.
Oh.
The guy working the case in the FBI is Andrew McCabe. Now, if you've heard the name Andrew McCabe before, McCabe is the guy who was in charge of the Clinton email scandal for the FBI. And his wife got $765,000 from a Clinton-connected person, Terry McAuliffe, to run with Hillary, and that's another story. All of these players knew about Russia's attempts and criminal racketeering to get our uranium. And yet, in spite of all that, they allowed the United States, Obama, Holder, and his cabal, because we needed permission, they allowed the sale of our uranium. And they didn't let the case out until, I think it was 2014 or 15, something like that. But they did a plea deal, no trial, virtually no publicity, Labor Day weekend, sentencing, Christmas. Nobody heard about the case. And the informant, remember the guy that went to the FBI? They gagged him. And they called him up to remind him that if he opens his mouth about what the Russians were doing, that the administration knew about before they gave our uranium to the Russians, he would go to jail, that there'd be a criminal penalty. What I'm talking about, folks, as far as I'm concerned, is treason.
Yes.
So, your job is to make sure that you get out there in whatever way you can, because you're on the right side of justice. You're on the right side of history and the right side of America. There are people who don't believe in this country anymore. Don't be ashamed of who you are or what you believe in. You may be in a minority, but you may be in a majority sooner than you think. But it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to take a lot of fight. I think you can do it. I do it every Saturday. I'm there for you. Please be there for the people of California. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah.
Society still does not sufficiently value women. We still don't condemn sexual assault as loudly as we should.
Women's rights are human rights, and human rights are women's rights, and I believe that with all my heart.
We make excuses. We look the other way.
I went to 112 countries for all of you. I raised it in every country.
The message that sends can have a chilling effect on our young women.
I looked across the table at dictators and authoritarians and chauvinists and sexists and misogynists.
And who would that be? Crooked Hillary and her sexual predator husband, Bill. Wow. Look at it, folks. Those are his best friends.
Birds of a feather.
Yep.
Together.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to start another video in about 5 seconds.
A few years ago,